Hi, and అందరికీ నమస్కారం. Welcome back to Trie Technologies. మా ఛానల్ లైక్, సబ్స్క్రైబ్, షేర్ చేయండి, and also don't forget to comment about your queries and feedbacks. టెలిగ్రామ్ ఛానల్లో జాయిన్ అవ్వండి. అక్కడ ఏ క్వరీస్ ఉన్నా పోస్ట్ చేయండి. విల్ ట్రై టు రిప్లై యూ బ్యాక్. సో మనం రీలెవెల్ గురించి మాట్లాడదాం కొద్దిసేపు. సో నేను ఆల్రెడీ చాలాసార్లు చెప్పిన రీలెవెల్లో ఏమవుతుంది అనేసి. కానీ మన వాళ్ళు ఏంటంటే చాలా మంది మీకు డెవాప్స్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ కానీ క్లౌడ్ కానీ ఇంకా ఇందులో పెట్టలేదు. ఓకే, సో these are all the front end back end development కానివ్వండి. if you are very good in HR management ఆ కోర్సెస్ అన్ని కూడా ఇందులో ఉన్నాయి. ఓకే, సో యూ గైస్ కెన్ గో అండ్ గెట్ ఇట్. ఓకే, సో గెట్ హార్డ్ అని కొడితే ఇక్కడ చూసినట్టయితే లెఫ్ట్ హ్యాండ్ సైడ్ లో బిజినెస్ డెవలప్మెంట్ టెస్ట్, బిజినెస్ అనాలిటిక్స్ టెస్ట్. ఓకే, సో ఆ తర్వాత టెక్నికల్ టెస్ట్ వచ్చేసి ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్ డెవలప్మెంట్, బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ డెవలప్మెంట్, ఫుల్ స్టాక్, డేటా అనలిటిస్ట్, ఆండ్రాయిడ్ డెవలప్మెంట్ టెస్ట్ వచ్చింది కొత్తగా దాంట్లో 25 lakhs per annum. ఫుల్ స్టాక్ అయితే 50 lakhs per annum ఉంది. బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్ డెవలప్మెంట్ కి 40 lakhs per annum ఉంది. ఓకే, సో ఎలక్ట్రికల్ మెకానికల్ ఇంజనీర్స్ అండ్ ఆల్సో బ్లాక్ చైన్ డెవలపర్స్ కి కూడా ఇక్కడ మీకు యాక్చువల్ గా అవకాశం ఉన్నాయి అనమాట. ఓకే, సో యూ గైస్ కెన్ గో అండ్ రైట్ ఎనీ ఎగ్జామ్ యూ లైక్. ఓకే, సో మీరు అందులో డిజిటల్ మార్కెటింగ్ లో ఉన్న ఫైనాన్స్ అనలిస్ట్ అయినా. ఓకే, సో ఇందులో మీకు బీకామ్ చేసిన వాళ్ళకి, బీటెక్ చేసి అంటే లైక్ ఏ సైడ్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ సైడ్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళకైనా సరే, టెక్నికల్ సైడ్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళకైనా సరే, బిజినెస్ సైడ్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళకైనా సరే, ఇట్స్ వెరీ ఈజీ ఫర్ యూ టు గో అండ్ రైట్ అన్ ఎగ్జామ్. 18 years ఉంటే చాలు. అండ్ ఆల్సో లాట్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ ఆర్ గెటింగ్ జాబ్ ఎవ్రీ మంత్, చాలా జాబ్స్. ఓకే, సో అండ్ ఆల్సో గ్రాడ్యుయేట్స్. ఓకే, సో 2 tier కాలేజెస్, 3 tier కాలేజెస్ ఉంటాయి. ఓకే, సో అట్లాంటి కాలేజెస్ నుంచి జాబ్ కొట్టాలంటే చాలా కష్టం. ఓకే, సో అంటే లైక్ మనకేంటంటే క్యాంపస్ ప్లేస్మెంట్స్ ఉండే అట్లాంటి కాలేజెస్ వాళ్ళకి ఏం చేయాలి అనే డైలమాలో ఉన్నప్పుడు యూ గైస్ కెన్ గో అండ్ రైట్ దిస్ రీలెవెల్ ఎగ్జామ్. చాలా చాలా బెనిఫిట్ అవుతుంది. అండ్ ఆల్సో నేను చాలా సార్లు చెప్పిన లైక్ దీస్ గైస్ ఆర్ ప్రొవైడింగ్ హ్యూజ్ నంబర్ ఆఫ్ కంపెనీస్. ఓకే, సో చాలా కంపెనీస్ ఉన్నాయి వేర్ యూ గైస్ కెన్ go and write your exam. Okay, take your test, unlock job interviews, choose the best job. Okay, so మీకు ఏ జాబ్ బెస్ట్ అనిపిస్తుందో ఆ జాబ్ కి మీరు వెళ్ళొచ్చు. అండ్ ఇక్కడ చూసినట్టయితే there are a lot of people who already got hired and also very good packages. మీకు చేయాల్సింది ఏం లేదు, వెళ్ళి ఫ్రీగా స్లాట్ బుక్ చేసుకోండి. యూ కెన్ రైట్ ఎనీ ఎగ్జామ్ ఆఫ్ యువర్ లైకింగ్స్. ఓకే, సో మీకు ఇంకోటి ఏంటంటే ఎవ్రీ మంత్ మీరు లీడర్షిప్ లో టాప్ లో వస్తే మీకు మ్యాక్బుక్, iPhone 13 అండ్ ఆల్సో యాపిల్ వాచ్. ఓకే, సో ఇవి మీకు గెలుచుకునే ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది. అండ్ ఆల్సో వన్ మోర్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్ ఇస్ మీరు టాప్ 10 లో ఉన్నా కానీ మీకు గుడీస్ అన్ని కూడా, యాపిల్ గుడీస్ అన్ని కూడా వస్తాయి అనమాట. ఓకే, సో ఇక్కడ చూడండి సందీప్ గుప్తా, ప్రకాష్, అభిషేక్, శ్యామ్. ఓకే, సో మనకి ఆల్రెడీ జాబ్ కూడా వచ్చింది దోసోడేలో. ఓకే, సో ట్రై టు గో అండ్ లాగ్ ఇన్ హియర్ అండ్ గెట్ యువర్ జాబ్. Hi all, welcome back to Trie Technologies. I'm so DevOps Factory. Please go and visit our channel in the web portal, that is learning channel. So learning portal, you can say that is trietlearning.com. So I'm trying to give this in every session so that people can go and check what exactly trietlearning.com is. Okay, so if you go to trietlearning.com, okay, so this is our channel. Okay, so you guys can go and get any course here. So whatever the courses we have done. And also for your information, if you are into the DevOps or if you are into the Linux administration jobs, you can go and purchase this one with 999 rupees. It was actually 4,000 rupees, which I have decreased it for this portal because I have launched this portal recently. So you guys can go and get it for 999, but this is in Telugu. Please remember that. So if you know Telugu, you guys can go and watch these videos so that it will be very helpful for you to get into the jobs for DevOps and also for the Linux administration. And also if someone is going for the DevOps jobs and you guys have already been trained and you don't know how to get your project, you guys can go and watch this project, DevOps project end-to-end flow. This is in English. You guys can get end-to-end flow of the project, how it works, how projects has been designed and all. So we are doing work like I say, like learn with me. So I don't see any one coming up with learn with me. Okay, so there are very few calls. Okay, so only 2 people have called me like they are okay and interested to come in join, but there are a lot of comments saying that it's a good initiative, but I don't see people coming up with the solutions, or I don't see people are coming up with the enthusiasm that I expected. Okay, so that is not a problem. I am totally fine with it. Okay, so if you guys are not into it, okay, so definitely this is, sorry, let me go to my GitHub page. Sorry. Okay, so this is my GitHub page. Okay, so this is what I have created. So what exactly I'm going to do here, I have already explained you what we are going to do, and also I have my Jenkins running in my local machine, that is 127.0.0.1 with 8080 port. Okay, so this is my Jenkins box. So if you see, I have created an empty Jenkins box here for now. I wanted to do everything from scratch. I'm not sure like if you guys also have this, please install your Jenkins if you want to follow me. And also create a GitHub of your own, you can follow that. So what exactly we are going to do and what exactly how this happens in the real time if you have an organization or if you are working in a project. So how your pipelines have been deployed into the Jenkins. For example, I have multi branch pipelines running. So I have a QA pipeline, I have a dev pipeline, I have a UAT pipeline, then I have a UAT prod, then I have a production pipelines. So how you are going to segregate all those pipelines, like how you are going to make your repositories in that way. Okay, so the owner of this repository is DevOps-Factory. You guys are able to see that now. For example, if I am going to create a repository name, so I will definitely say that it will start with Trie. This is my organization name, or DevOps Factory is already my project. So I will say like DevOps-Factory and my repository. Like I can say develop. Okay, so this is my repository name, and I'll make it as public repository. Okay, and also I'll try to add a README file, and this is fine. I'm going to create my repository. So this is my develop repository. If I go to my DevOps Factory, I'll have my develop repository. And also I wanted to create one more repo. So I will say this as test. Is better. Okay, let us make it as testing. Okay, so I'm making it as public repo. I'll add a README file. I'll say create repository. Okay, so my idea is like I have different types of repos running in, like it might be develop, it might be testing, it might be UAT. Okay, then I might create my UAT prod, then I might create my production uh, repositories. Okay, so how I can create an organization from Jenkins. Okay, so it's very important that whatever we create, okay, so it should go through the Jenkins. Okay, so whatever I do, it has to go through Jenkins. It is not that I can do whatever I wish. Okay, so that doesn't work in the real time. So how that happens and how we are gonna do that. Okay, so definitely when you are talking about all that stuff, it has to be through webhooks, right? So it has to be webhooks or your GitHub app. So how you can create a GitHub app? So if I go to my settings and I'll go to developer settings. So here if you see, I can create GitHub apps. So I'll say new GitHub app. I'll click on new GitHub app. I'll give a name saying that DevOps Factory. Hope it's there. Okay, so then I'll say home URL. Okay, so you can give your GitHub apps website. Okay, so I'll go and give my URL. Okay, so my organization URL is github.com/devops-factory. So I'll go and register that here. I'll say this is my home URL. So this is my organization, that is DevOps-factory. Then I'll go here and I'll say webhook URL. So what is my webhook URL? Okay, so how can get my webhook URL? So it should be within public range. So to have my webhook URL, I need to give my Jenkins URL. Okay, so this is my local Jenkins. Okay, so I cannot give this local Jenkins because it should be a public facing or it should be behind a firewall, like whatever it is. Like we need to expose that to the GitHub, right? So here the problem is I don't have that. Okay, so this is totally my local 127.0.2.1. Okay, so what I have done is I have got my Jenkins on the Azure box. Okay, so this is a public IP of my Azure. Okay, so I'm just copying that and I'll go with the URL. Okay, so here I'll just paste that, and also what you need to do after slash, I need to give GitHub hyphen webhook. Okay, so without giving this GitHub hyphen webhook, it won't work. Okay, so you have to give GitHub hyphen webhook slash. Okay, so I'm not giving any secret, that is an option. So here if you go and check, okay, so what are the things you can select, what are the things you can give. Okay, so you can go to one of the web pages called cloudbees.com. Okay, so it says GitHub auth. Okay, so it will clearly give you all the details like how you can do that. Okay, so if you see here, you do not need to complete any of the things that is authorizing user, that is fine. But what are the things you can check? Under repository permissions, choose the following permissions for each type of permission. Use the drop down menu to select read only, read write, or no access. So this is totally your wish of what you want to check, what you don't want to check. Okay, so here if you go into this, you can see administration as read only. So I go with administration as read only. So you can go for the checks. Okay, so checks is read and write. So I'll do read and write on my checks. Code scanning alerts, you can do code scanning alerts, but we are not doing it. Content, we are going into this and we are going and giving contents as read only. Okay, so then if you go down, say you have one more thing called as metadata and pull request. So I'll go to metadata. So here in pull request, you can give read only. So I'll give read only, and in metadata I'll give read only. Okay, so it is mandatory. Okay, so you can see like you have only metadata as a mandatory field, but nothing else is here mandatory. So you can use as per your requirements. Okay, so if you want to have your secrets, webhooks, workflows, so what all the access you wanted to give. Okay, so that you can definitely give in this section. Next, it says that, okay, so optional webhook, we are also giving commit statuses. Okay, so it says commit statuses as read and write. So I'll go and say commit statuses as read and write. Okay, then if I go to organization permissions, okay, so even like this is all about repository permissions. So we are not going to connect any organization permission. So under subscribe to events, select the following events. He says, okay, so under the subscribe events, it says checksum, check suit. Okay, and you can go for pull request, push, and repository. Okay, so I'll go with pull request, push, and repository. You can read all this stuff. Okay, so what exactly this is. Okay, so pull request, open, closed, opened, edited, assigned, unassigned, review, requested, review, request removed. Okay, so you can check all this stuff and you can see how your pull requests are happening. Okay, so this is it for this section, and for this you can give like how many accounts you can give. Okay, so you can give any account or you can say only on this account. So I'm going only for DevOps Factory account. This is my organization account. So I'll say create a GitHub. Okay, so app. Here you can see it says you must create or you must generate a private key. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just click on this and I'll generate my private key and I'll save this file. Okay, so it just got saved. Okay, it's just saving. Okay, so it got saved in my downloads. Okay, so this is my private key.pem. So if you go and see here, he says like this article says, like we have already created this. So in the upper right corner of any GitHub page, you go into profile icon settings in the navigation bar under private keys. You need to generate a private key that we have already done. So it is very important that you convert that private key for Jenkins. So whenever you are putting this into the Jenkins, you have to convert this key. So what I'll do, I'll just copy this and I'll go to my terminal. Okay, so this is my terminal. I'll just log in as root. Okay, so I'll just copy paste that URL, sorry, that command. Now I can go and say that I'll just drag this. I wanted to see. Okay, so this is my location. So I'll just say, let me open this. Okay, so I'll go home. I'll say CD and I'll do ls. Okay, so it is there. So I'll just copy this command, copy, paste, and this is the key, right? So my key name is DevOps Factory. I'll say how hyphen out. Okay, then I'll say DevOps Factory hyphen GitHub hyphen app.com. Okay, not .com, right? GitHub.pem. GitHub app.pem. Then I'll say no crypt hyphen no crypt. Right, let me check once again. No crypt hyphen no crypt. It is fine. Then I'll do enter. Missing. Now I'll do ls hyphen lrt. Now you can see like I have converted this. Okay, so this is my private key, which is this is my private key which I have converted. Okay, so now I'll go to that article again. So installing the GitHub app to your organization. Okay, so we need to install the GitHub app to our organization. So from the GitHub app setting page, okay, so we need to go to our GitHub apps page. Again, I'll go to settings. In settings, you can go to DevOps settings. Sorry, developer settings. Here you can click on DevOps Factory. Okay, so here you can see install app. Okay, so I'm installing this app. I'll click on this install app. So you can select the repositories, whatever the repositories you want. Okay, so develop, testing, whatever. Okay, but I want to go for all the repositories which is in my organization because I have created this organization in very newly. Okay, so I'll say install. So it will install on all the organizations. Okay, so sorry, all the repositories in my organization. So this is how we can install the app. Again, I'll go back here. So once installed, we have configuration options for the app on your selected account. So here what you need to do, you need to go to your Jenkins from, okay, this is fine. Select the global credentials store. Okay, so we need to go to our Jenkins page. Then we can go to our credentials page, manage Jenkins. I'll go for manage credentials. Okay, so here we can create our this one. Okay, I'll go to global credentials. So I'll say add credentials. So here you can choose GitHub app. Okay, so you have user with password, GitHub secret. Okay, so I'll go with GitHub app and I'll give ID for that. So if you see here, okay, so for the ID, enter the GitHub app name you created. Okay, so whatever the GitHub app we created, we need to just copy that ID app name. Okay, so this is my app name. Okay, I'll just copy this. Okay, I'm giving the ID as DevOps Factory. So you need to give the app ID. Okay, so app ID you need to get it from here. Okay, so in your GitHub apps, click on DevOps Factory or your app name. You get your app ID. You need to copy this app ID and you need to paste that here. Okay, and here you need to add the key. So what I will do is I'll go here and I'll say cat and I'll just copy this and I'll paste this, enter. This is my key. I'll just copy it from here. I'll say copy, oops, copy, and I'll say it as add, okay, and I'll say test connection. Okay, so it is testing the connection. It says success. Okay, so remaining rate limit is 4999. I'll say okay. Okay, I have added my credentials. Now we have got our app ID and we have submitted into the Jenkins. Okay, so we have added that key and converted key and we have done okay. So now what happens? Okay, so this whatever we have created, right? So whatever things we have created. Okay, so we need to go to the Jenkins and we need to create a pipeline, right? So configure the GitHub organization. So from the GitHub organization, select configure in the list now and projects tab it's saying, and so this is fine, this is all fine. So configuring a controller to use a webhook secret. Okay, so we need to configure the controller to use this webhook secret. So what I'll do, I'll go to my dashboard here. So I want to create a organization from the Jenkins job, right? So what I'll do, I'll click on new item. Okay, so here I'll give my name, just enter. Okay, so I'll say DevOps Factory. Okay, so you can give any name. Okay, so I'm just giving my organization name. So if you see here, this is something called organization folder. Okay, so what happens when you go for the organization folder? So it says creates a set of multi-branch projects. Okay, so I'll just click on OK. I'll go to the projects. Okay, so if I go down here, so you can see repository sources. You can say GitHub organization. So I'm just clicking GitHub organizations. I need to give the endpoint, API endpoint for your GitHub organization. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll go to this page and I'll get that. Okay, so if you see here, https://api.github.com. Okay, it is saying like to connect to the manage Jenkins, then configure Jenkins, then it is asking us to add the GitHub servers. Okay, so what I will do, so I'll say leave page, then I'll go to manage Jenkins, then we can go for the configure system. Okay, so in configure system, if I go down, there will be a GitHub server. Okay, so GitHub server, add GitHub server it says. Okay, so we can add the GitHub server. This is the https api.github.com. Then okay, we'll give credentials later. Okay, then I'll say github.com, then I'll say save, apply and save. It's saved. Then again I'll go to my DevOps Factory organization and I will go to configure. Okay, so now I have got my GitHub organization here and I have given my credentials as DevOps Factory. Then the owner. Okay, so owner is my GitHub ID. Okay, so if I go to my GitHub, so my ID is DevOps-Factory, right? So my ID is DevOps-Factory. This is where, sorry. Okay, so DevOps-Factory is my organization name. So what I have to give my organization name or ID owner as DevOps-Factory. I'll say apply and I'll say save. Right now I'll say scan organization now. You go to scan logs, so it is scanning. Okay, so it is scanning my organization URLs, examining the develop, and also it is examining the test. Okay, so we have only two repositories, right? One is develop, one is testing. So what is the problem here? It says getting remote pull request Jenkins file not found does not meet criteria. So it is not doing anything because we don't have any Jenkins file. Okay, so now I'll go to DevOps Factory again. Sorry. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything. The folder is still empty. Okay, so if I go to configure, so if you go down here, so it is looking for the script file path, that is Jenkins file. Okay, so you need to have your Jenkins files created. So what I'll do, I'll go to my one of the develop repositories. Okay, then I'll say add file or I'll say create a new file and I'll name it as Jenkins file. Okay, I'm just creating a Jenkins empty file, and I'll say that create Jenkins file, right? Then I'll say commit. Okay, now it got committed. So if I go back to my Jenkins, okay, so I click on dashboard. Okay, so I click on dev factory. So now you see I got my develop branch here automatically. I've done nothing. I just added my Jenkins file. Okay, so I've just added a empty Jenkins file. If I want to add anything, if I write anything on that script, that will come up here. Okay, so now I'll go back to the develop. Okay, DevOps factory. So whatever I create, whatever branches I create, whatever repositories I create in this organization, it will come automatically. Okay, so it will show up here automatically. Okay, so one more thing, what I'll do is I'll go back to my this one. Okay, and I'll say DevOps factory. Then I'll go to testing. Then I'll add something. Okay, so add new file. Okay, I'll just say, oops, Jenkins file. Okay, I'm creating a Jenkins file here. I'll say create Jenkins file. I'll say commit. So whenever I commit with the Jenkins file, what happens here? When I go to my repo and I'll just say DevOps factory, it just shows me testing. Okay. Okay, now you see it shows the testing one. For example, if I am going to create one more repo, okay, so here if I go and the repositories, I'll say new. So I'll create a repo with UAT. Okay, I'm creating a UAT, or we'll go with the prod. Okay, so I'll say production. We'll go with the production. Okay, so and I'll add a README file. Then I'll say create repository. Inside this, I will create a Jenkins file. Okay, and I'll say create Jenkins file. I'll commit this change. Okay, now if I go back again, okay, okay, my production repo also came up. Okay, I'm not doing anything here. Okay, so I'm not going to, I'm not going for the individual repositories. I'm not applying my GitHub app on individual repositories. I'm applying it on the organization level. Okay, so or as a project level, so that whatever I create, it will come up on the Jenkins pipeline, and I can execute my pipelines and I can deploy whatever I wanted to deploy. Okay, so this is the starting step. Okay, so we'll do add all the Jenkins repositories with PRs and all. We'll see how that goes.